Hi, this is Val Vandervoort of Veritas Homes.
Good morning, everyone. Lorenzo Gueco of Veritas Homes.
Thank you for joining us. So let's do a quick rundown on what's going on with our local real estate market. So as we look at the inventory, some cities that we track are down and some that are up. This is in regards to single family residences.
Most notably, the entire county is slightly down from last week.
Yeah, and this is discouraging for buyers because we historically see gains from like the second week in April into the third week of April, and we just can't seem to build inventory.
And we're seeing absorptions or absorption of pretty much every property that has been listed that has come to market in the past week. And it has been one home selling for every home that is coming on the market. Even if they're fixers or they're a little bit run down, they're just going.
Yeah, yeah, just doesn't allow us to build inventory. Although I would say many listing agents feel like they have a good pipeline of properties coming on the market, just it keeps getting gobbled up. So Lorenzo, you and I were having a great conversation this week about how the market and how it can be discouraging to buyers when they get beat up in multiple offer situation. So you had some great words of wisdom for getting through markets like this.
Yeah, and we try our best to keep a positive cadence and tone. And the funny thing is, regardless if they're new clients or clients that we've been putting out offers for weeks, they both of those clients ask the same question: how is it this week? That is an entirely true statement. Week to week is such a different sense of what's going on in the market and feel, obviously, with the inventory, but the activity is one constant. It's been very busy and it's been very hectic. And the last 3 to 4 weeks in particular has been pretty unprecedented. So I always encourage my clients to stay the path. You're doing the right thing. You're putting out offers. You always got to give it your best up front because you don't want to leave any room for doubt. Always give it your best. Now, in one particular scenario, we had a client give it their best 560 above asking price, and they were still beat by another 150,000. They felt okay walking away from that. As long as you can live with that result and you feel okay, just continue down that path, and eventually one of them will stick.
Yeah, that's so true, right? And that is the nice, I think one part that feels gives peace to buyers is that for each property, there's only so much that it's worth it to them. So, and we see buyers that they ultimately get into contract. And I would say our team is very good at getting buyers into homes in multiple offer situations. Just some of these days that have 20 plus offers are much more challenging to negotiate, and buyers more so tend to have a limit of where they're willing to go, right?
Absolutely. And if I add one more aspect to that, we try to provide all the data, comps, recent sales. The data only suggests so much. At one point, you're just going to have to give it your gut. And
Yeah,
I know it's hard for our engineer clients or our scientists
yeah.
and our mathematicians, whatever. But a little, you just have to know when you're buying real estate. You just gotta go for it sometimes.
Yeah. So what do appraisers do in that situation where it's, they've seen that market before where it's trending upward fast, that like, how do they weight that given that the pending sales are probably their best sales and they may not be able to use those?
So I haven't appraised in over 5 years, so I have to say that when I speak to my appraiser colleague or past
Yeah.
friends, they just really have to get more information from the agents too, um, not just the data that's in the MLS. You got to get the information from the agents because the agent can tell you, oh, this sold above XYZ, but 5 of those were above XYZ. So how does that justify it? Because it's going to be the highest comp on the street and it's going
Yeah.
to set the precedent. So
Yeah.
you really have to just dig down with the data, with
Okay.
what you can obtain from agents. So agents, please share with our appraisers.
Yeah. 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 I always do. I know they've got a challenging job that they're trying to do, and just having more data is helpful to them. So it's interesting, kind of that leads me into this whole Zillow thing. I think Zillow is having a hard time with the market too. Um, in my phone, over the years, I have a collection of snapshots where I've looked up a property on Zillow and there is some weird graph. And it's like in a particular property. So I'll take a picture of, like, just take my phone up to the computer screen and take a picture and snap it, because it's so odd, and it makes me laugh about, how much people rely upon Zillow, and they're running algorithms. So what we're seeing right now in, specifically in Belmont, is that there's this pocket around, Cipriani, where, there's a home that's showing having gone up 12.5% in the last 30 days, which is absolutely ludicrous, right? Like that would be a rate at, if you looked at it over the year, just absolutely untenable. We would double our prices in the year of
Yeah.
2021. And then like around the corner, about a half mile away, there's a property that's showing, a loss of 0.3% in the last 30 days. And one that I just looked at like a week ago was showing, I think, like 7 or 8%, but it now today is showing a loss of 0.3%. So, and then kind of in different areas like the Hallmark neighborhood, it's showing 1% up to like 4%. And I would say probably overall, numbers closer to the 2 to 4% in Belmont. So, you know, all these cities like San Carlos, Belmont, San Mateo are all tracking at a pretty similar rate. There's not some house that's going up 12% in this time frame and one that's going down 0.3%. So it just is bizarre to me what how is Zillow, how does their algorithm work? Where are they pulling data from that's showing such a huge discrepancy across the city that we know pretty much regardless of where it's situated in these small cities that are pretty homogenous, that it's moving at the same rate. So have you seen anything crazy out there on any of these valuation sites, Lorenzo?
I have to say that and remind consumers and some agents, it says it in the phrase estimate. It says it. It's an estimate. It's an opinion, an algorithm opinion.
Yeah.
But it doesn't include like physical presence at the property, sound, feel, not so much taste unless it's really stinks and you taste it in your mouth. But it does not include those aspects of what your agents are telling you, our colleagues. So even though those aren't hard data points, but having conversations with agents that have walked through the house, I think there's a whole heap more data, relevant data there than an algorithm telling you 10, 12%.
Yeah. The other thing I think is always interesting about these valuations is like we all know as agents and buyers, know it, like flow to the backyard is huge, right? So Zillow can't give us information about what is any particular house flow to the backyard, but it has a big impact on what buyers are willing to pay for a home. The other thing I'm seeing is that there really is a big discrepancy between what Zillow will say a home is worth and what Redfin will say a home is worth. And it's not necessarily consistent that one is higher than the other. I see them cross over all the time. And when I have more time, I want to track, like I always track, what does Zillow say the house is worth? What does Redfin say the house is worth? What do I think the home is worth? And then where does it ultimately sell? And I need to gather up all that data over the years and like make it into some chart.
And then to bring it full circle, remember, it's just an opinion. Zillow, Redfin, and the appraiser is opinion of value until there's a ratified contract that a seller and a buyer agree on. At that point, the appraiser has to justify it.
Yeah.
And
that's where value is, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's a great point and great way to bring it full circle, as you said. So, well, everyone, thank you for joining us at Surreal Estate by Veritas Homes. Wishing you a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you next Friday. This is Val Vandervoort of Veritas Homes.
Lorenzo Gueco, I will see you guys at the tours and probably run into some of you.
Yeah. And if you ever need help with buying or selling, reach out to us. We'd love to help you. Bye, everyone.
Take care.